The Saxons were a group of Germanic peoples who originated in what is now northern Germany. Their history stretches back to the Roman era, known for their seafaring skills and warrior culture. In the 5th century AD, they began migrating across the North Sea, seeking new lands in post-Roman Britain. These migrations, along with those of the Angles and Jutes, profoundly impacted the course of British history, leading to the establishment of Anglo-Saxon England. This period witnessed the emergence of distinct Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, such as Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria. Through interactions and intermingling with the native Britons, the Saxons played a crucial role in shaping the English language and culture, a legacy that continues to resonate in modern Britain. Not a monolithic group, the Saxons were composed of various tribes and clans, often forming alliances and confederations for warfare and expansion. They were skilled seafarers, capable of navigating the treacherous waters of the North Sea in their sleek and sturdy longships, which enabled them to conduct raids and establish settlements along the coastlines of Britain. Moreover, the Saxons were formidable warriors, renowned for their ferocity and courage in battle. Their military prowess stemmed from disciplined fighting formations using a shield wall, a tightly packed line of warriors wielding spears and swords. Their weaponry included the seax, a single-edged knife that gave them their name. The Saxons' success in warfare was also attributed to their adaptability and strategic thinking, quick to assimilate new military technologies and tactics. The Saxons, primarily pagan upon their arrival in Britain, worshipped a pantheon of gods and goddesses, including Woden, Thunor, and Freya. However, over time, many Saxons converted to Christianity, influenced by missionaries from Rome and Ireland. This conversion significantly impacted Saxon society, leading to the establishment of monasteries and churches. The Saxons were a practical people, skilled in agriculture and craftsmanship, living in small villages often surrounded by fields and forests. Their houses were typically timber-framed structures with thatched roofs and wattle and daub walls. They were skilled metalworkers, producing weapons, tools, and jewelry, and were also adept at woodworking, weaving, and pottery, with their craftsmanship being both functional and decorative. Saxon society was hierarchical, with a clear distinction between nobles and commoners. The king, chosen from a royal lineage, held the highest authority and was advised by a council of elders and nobles known as the Witan. Thanes, a class of warriors who swore allegiance to the king, formed the backbone of the Saxon army and were rewarded with land and status for their service. Freemen who owned their own land formed the majority of the population and were responsible for farming, craft production, and military service. At the bottom of the social ladder were slaves, often captured in war or born into servitude, performing menial tasks and having limited rights. The Saxons' arrival in Britain brought them into contact with various other groups, including the native Britons who had inhabited the island for centuries. The relationship between the Saxons and the Britons was complex and often marked by conflict. The Saxons' migrations displaced many Britons, pushing them westward into Wales, Cornwall, and Cumbria. They engaged in numerous battles and skirmishes with the Britons and gradually asserted their dominance over much of the island. The Saxons also interacted with other Germanic groups who had migrated to Britain, including the Angles and Jutes. The Angles settled in the north and east, while the Jutes established themselves in the southeast. The Saxons, Angles, and Jutes eventually coalesced into a single Anglo-Saxon people, sharing similar languages, customs, and cultural practices. The Saxons also had to contend with threats from across the sea as Viking raiders from Scandinavia began launching attacks on Anglo-Saxon England in the late 8th century. These Vikings, skilled seafarers and warriors, posed a significant challenge to Saxon rule, plundering coastal settlements, seizing territory, and even establishing their own kingdoms in parts of England. The Saxon kings often found themselves embroiled in conflicts with the Vikings, fighting to defend their realms from these incursions. The Saxons formed alliances and engaged in diplomacy with neighboring kingdoms, seeking to secure their borders and expand their influence. They also participated in trade networks that spanned the North Sea and beyond, bringing new ideas, goods, and technologies into Saxon society. In the Saxon period in Britain, a time marked by constant warfare and territorial expansion unfolded. The Saxons engaged in numerous conflicts with the native Britons, gradually pushing them westward and establishing their own kingdoms across much of the island. The most prominent of these kingdoms was Wessex, which eventually emerged as the dominant power in southern England. Key figures emerged during this period, playing pivotal roles in shaping the course of Saxon history. One such figure was Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, renowned for his successful defense against Viking invasions in the late 9th century. Alfred's military victories not only helped to secure the survival of Wessex, but also laid the foundation for the eventual unification of England under his successors. Another notable Saxon ruler was Aethelstan, grandson of Alfred the Great, who achieved the unification of England in the early 10th century. Aethelstan's reign marked a turning point in Saxon history, ushering in an era of greater political unity and stability. He is credited with consolidating royal power, establishing a more centralized administration, and promoting learning and culture. The Saxons' military successes were due to their effective military organization. Their armies were well disciplined and equipped, employing a variety of tactics. Adept at both offensive and defensive warfare, they constructed fortifications to protect their territories and engaged in siege warfare when necessary. Their military prowess enabled them to expand their domains and establish a lasting presence in Britain. The Saxons left an indelible mark on the history and culture of Britain. Their language, Old English, evolved into the English spoken today. Many place names in England, such as Essex, Sussex, and Wessex, reflect their historical presence. The Saxons also influenced the legal system, customs, and traditions of England. Their legacy is evident in the institutions, values, and societal norms that have shaped the nation. Often romanticized in popular culture as fierce warriors and skilled craftsmen, the Saxons are portrayed in literature, film, and television as symbols of strength, resilience, and a connection to the past. Their stories continue to capture the imagination. The study of Saxon history provides valuable insights into the development of England as a nation. Archaeologists continue to unearth artifacts and settlements that shed light on Saxon life, culture, and technology. Historians analyze written sources and archaeological evidence to reconstruct the events and personalities that shaped this era. The Saxon story is a reminder of the enduring impact of migration, conquest, and cultural exchange on the course of history. Their legacy continues to resonate in modern Britain, shaping the identity and heritage of the nation.